So yeah, y'all are all sleeping in the same room. Y'all are stone cold whenever Malos and Sirocco sneak out, but something is gonna wake one of you up, and then things are gonna happen within phase keep. That's the idea I had. You see the fantasy Taco Bell rumors?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's the getting turned picture.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
That picture's so good. I can just see him going like, ugh, ooh, like he's like making sounds. Who's around me? Okay, I'm ready to go. I think. All right, what do y'all see on y'all's screen? Y'all are in phase keep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking at Space Ghost dancing. It's the only thing. I'm gonna make that resolution like my background. It's gonna be all pixelated. A pixelated Space Ghost. I might make that my Twitter picture.
It's all right. This is gonna be primarily shenanigans. You gotta be ready.
Well, yeah. Well, my clothes aren't even dry yet, so it's not like I could leave.
Okay.
Was that you throwing
What?
shit around?
All of this sounds terrible. All right, I'm ready. No! He's making a smoothie? No! All right, Alejandro, you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard like some terrible shit going on in the background.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was my coffee grinder. I decided to make a cup.
Okay.
Wait.
I'm gonna get some music going. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, we're starting. I'm gonna get this music going.
I'm in there, dog.
All right, I'm in here, dog. Okay, let me know if the music's too loud. I think y'all can. Alex was saying y'all can adjust it on your end.
Yeah, I turned that shit way down.
Yeah,
So.
that shit's off.
No, just keep it low. We need a little bit of aura.
I'm not listening to Dooku metal. It's gonna break my RP.
It's not Dooku metal. It doesn't make sense to have Dooku metal going right now. Y'all are sleeping. You're sleeping babies. Okay, so y'all are sleeping babies, and you don't know it, but Sirocco and Malos are gone in your little bunk bed. I'm gonna roll real quick. Okay, so Darian, you were given some dreams that are very odd. That not necessarily a nightmare, but it's a dream you never had before, and it's very odd. And you're woken up in the middle of it, and suddenly what are you wearing right now in your sleep?
I'm definitely not wearing my chainmail.
You're definitely not wearing any of your armor, or anything. You're in your jammies.
Yeah, I got some jammies with little crosses on them. I'm wearing those.
Okay, so you just get out of bed and you start like, it's almost like sleepwalking, but you're not sleepwalking. You're conscious, but you have somewhere you need to go, and you just start walking out of the room that y'all are sleeping in, and you walk back into like the main like foyer of Faye's Keep, where she reversed gravity on Malos and Sirocco the other day, and kind of made them eat shit because she was pissed that they're dicking around. And you walk in like straight across the middle of this, and it's like, this is like midnight, so it's dark outside. So there's like moonlight. It's a full moon, and there's moonlight shining through the foyer across where you're walking, and you just kind of head straight towards one of the rooms across the way. And while you getting out of bed, you're not sneaky about it at all. You're just kind of like sternly kicking your feet out of the bed, and you move the covers, and you just start walking, and you're not like your steps are as loud as normal. And Aegolor, your special elf ears
pick that shit right up.
So you wake up and you see Darian wandering off, and then you're alerted to
do I notice that the other people are gone?
Yeah. You're alerted to the fact that the only person now left in the room was Darian. Just like strides out is Kernan, is sleeping like a little baby with the thumb in his mouth.
I'm just like, these fuckers are going to TB without me. That's my thought.
Okay. You don't remember a dream, but you have some like compulsion when you look at Darian. So roll me Roll,
Oh.
roll me a.
I look him in the eyes like I want to fuck his butt.
Yeah. You look. Yeah, his cheeks are moving as he strides out, and you're looking at the caboose, and you feel
The
something
caboose.
because you were already wondering
But my
earlier.
body.
Earlier in the night, I mean, you only have to sleep for 4 hours, or rather meditate. So you fell asleep later than everyone. You kind of like have been waking up and stuff because you don't even need to sleep as long as everybody else.
I don't sleep.
And you kind of already had the thought earlier. You were like, "Who up?" And there wasn't anybody up.
I was tweeting memes.
Yeah. So roll a wisdom for when you stare into the
so
cheeks.
where do I see that in D&D Beyond?
Wisdom saving throw. Okay. Well, it shouldn't be a wisdom saving throw. It should just be your wisdom modifier.
Okay,
So whatever your
Alright.
plus is to wisdom.
that's 20, bro.
That's a wise ass, but you yeah, I mean you like were able to resist the compulsion of the ass. There's nothing that you want to pursue there. You just looked at an ass for a bit. And
We've all been there.
and Darian, you stride into, so like as you walk into this room, it's like kind of just like you're walking into a darkened room with no light. But then as soon as you cross the threshold, it's like immediately illuminated and you enter what looks like a library. So when you move you over there, I
Bro, I can't see shit.
have to move both y'all over there because
No,
that's not how it works.
I'm not there. I'm not there, bro.
Well, now y'all should be.
I'm in there, dog. I'm in there.
Okay.
I'm not in there, though.
Yeah, so now it's like a completely illuminated library. It looks like there's a combination of like candle light and like fires and torches and also daylight streaming in, kind of like how you see in the picture. I mean, you're not really thinking about it, but it is nighttime outside. So anyways, you walk into this library and there's like kind of, the picture doesn't reveal what it actually looks like, but there's like bookshelves. The shelves rise to the ceiling and further, and you kind of can't see how they end, and looks like it just kind of goes on forever, and you just kind of keep striding through the library. And again, you're like headed towards a singular area.
This is Darian?
This is Darian, and you just saw him walk into the darkened threshold of one of Faye's rooms in her keep, and then you don't see him anymore.
Alright.
So
This is trash ass gift John sent. Oh yeah, I forgot. John's the McMahon gift like expert. He's the connoisseur.
I came across that. I just had to share it.
You're just browsing posts.
I was browsing on Imgur.
Wow,
I've been on Imgur.
that's very 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can make an action if you want.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, can I roll to go back to bed? Duh, that'd be lame. That's metagaming.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's what
meta-
Aegolor wanted to do, what does Aegolor want to do?
I'm gonna get up
Read
and
some
then
books.
like, not necessarily like follow Darian. Like I just kind of want to explore as well.
Okay.
Like fuck the library. That's metagaming. What? Actually, I
You don't
can't-
know it's a library. Yeah.
I can't tell where John went. Right?
No.
All right, I'm gonna roll a D2, and that's gonna tell me.
You're flipping a coin like Two-Face?
Yeah, can you do that? A D2?
I think you can roll a D2.
There. All right, that's right. Actually, no, you pick it. What does that mean? So I'm unbiased.
A 1 versus 2?
Yeah, left or right, outside of the big L-shaped couch we were all sleeping on.
So to the left is, whenever you walk out, is like the opening out into like the garden and courtyard where y'all had some interaction. And to the right is Bo.
Bo?
He's awkwardly standing there. Roll a D2 for how much you're surprised.
Another D2?
Another D2.
This thing's. Well, I don't think. All right, let me roll until I get a 1 just to see if this works. Like, what is this? It's just making up dice.
Yeah, it's its job.
No, but I mean, can you get a 1? Oh, there. Okay.
A 1D2 is flipping a coin.
Oh yeah. I just. All right.
And Bo
This is a
says,
2.
Bo says evening, Seth.
What are you doing up?
He's standing with his hands behind his back. And he says, unblinking to you in response to that, I never sleep.
I'm just sleep's the best part of being alive, my friend. And I'm an elf who only gets 4 hours a day.
He kind of hits you with the wistful look, and he's like, if only I knew.
So I'm like, so what's there to do around here, Bo? What kind of trouble can I get myself into the keep?
Well, you should go back to bed.
I'm like, nah, fuck that. It's really.
Okay.
I was like, everyone's gone. I explained to him, everyone's gone. Crunan's in there sleeping, and like, actually, yeah. Do you know where they went? Where the rest of the party is?
Yes.
Can you tell me?
Well, Faye told me not to tell you of the other party members at this time.
Okay. So I'm just gonna walk away from Bo because he's worthless. So I'm gonna go the other way.
Okay.
See whatever I run into when I go the other way.
Okay, so you're gonna walk out in the courtyard?
Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna do a pause on you, go back to Darian. Darian, you keep walking, and then you get to a point whenever you like turn a couple of corners, you're like clearly going to a specific location, and you come up to like an area where there's less, the shelves are a lot lower, and there's less books, and it kind of leads, it's like a pathway that leads up to like a book on like a dais. And I have a handout for you to see what this looks like. And this seems to be the treasure of your eyes. Alright, so you should have a handout now called A Compelling Book that you can look at. Only you. And you
Is that
hear...
what a dais is? You said it's a dais?
Like the thing that holds books?
Well, yeah, like the picture has it on like a desk, but it's on a dais.
Okay.
And then...
That's what John got out of the book.
Is that a fucking dais?
My characters didn't know what that is.
What the fuck is a dais? Darian doesn't roll to see how if Darian knows what a dais is. Give me like an architecture roll.
Architecture? There's got to be a better category.
Yeah, the architecture roll doesn't exist. It's Arcana.
Roll.
Arcana. Yeah, roll me an Arcana just in general for what's happening.
John does not know what that is.
Well, I don't think Arcana will relate to the dais, but it can relate to the
Well,
book.
it could be a magical dice. So as you approach this book, you kind of hear a voice in your head. It hits you with, there's some stories. There's some stories that need to be read in this book. Come closer. So if you weren't already there, now you're approaching the book. It says, there's 4 stories to be told. It's up to you to decide which story is your favorite. If you lie about this, I will know it. And one more thing, one of these stories is false. If you choose that one, something must be said, and I'm not sure you will like it.
This is just a voice in my head?
This is a voice in your head as you like approach the book.
Okay. Is this like the same somewhat sort of temptation that made me get out of bed and come to this location? Or I guess I don't
That's a reasonable assumption, yeah. So we'll go back to Aegolor, whatever you're doing out there.
All right. So I'm in the courtyard. What are my options here? What paths may I take?
So the courtyard just kind of like leads out into like, it's basically like an extended balcony. And it's like overcast. Like I said, it's a full moon. The moon's kind of obscured by the clouds, shining down on the garden. You know, there's like some flowers and trees and ish. This is where Faye and you and Raphael and all them were around.
I'm just going to go out into the garden. Commune for a little bit.
Do some communing.
I'm a commune.
Press
X to pay respects.
What exactly does that entail?
I'm just gonna look at the flowers, breathe, feel the wind if there is any, because we're in some fucking floating castle.
Yeah, there's some wind, and if you were to look over the edge, you'd see it's like y'all are pretty high up, almost at level with the clouds, and the ocean is below you, or the sea.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just chilling there, just thinking about how lame Bo is, and wondering. Actually, can I fucking go to the portal?
The portal to Wake.
Wake. Yeah, where's that at?
Yeah, that's in one of the rooms. That's like it was like set up by Faye to y'all, where y'all could come and go. It's like in one of the other rooms nearby where that y'all could have been sleeping in if you hadn't dragged all your beds into one area.
I'm mainly interested in where the fuck everyone is. So after a little commuting, I'm gonna go hunting. I'm gonna go hunting for any clues of where the rest of the party could be. I guess I head back inside.
Okay. Yeah. When you turn around, Bo's standing in the threshold again of like going back into the threshold into the foyer, and he has his hands behind his back, wearing his like little vest.
I'm gonna ignore him. I'm just gonna walk past him.
Do you require something, sir?
I'm just like, well, you won't tell me the one thing I want to know, so.
Why do you want to know it?
I mean, I just want to know because I have FOMO, I have fear of missing out. So they could be getting litty at TB. It could be, gangbanging the emo girl, the goth queen, and I'm missing out. I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah, so he kind of pauses and kind of thinks for a second, and he's like, well, To be honest, I actually don't know where they are, but I know that the group that you recruited is staying in an inn in Wake somewhere. I don't know if they're all staying together. And it appears that Malos and Sirocco gone back into Wake for an unknown purpose. I believe Malos was feeling meditative. Was the look that I seemed to discern from his face when I looked at it from the balcony above y'all's bedroom, where I watch y'all.
I'm just like, you creepy fuck.
Words hurt, sir.
What about Darian?
Darian just walked straight into the library.
So my options are go to Wake, a library. Actually, I'm gonna. So maybe I will go to the library and try to look at some druidic texts. Try to see what's in there.
He smirks, and he kind of like rubs his hands together like Birdman, and
he's walking in the strip club.
he says, Faye's library is quite impressive. And then he kind of pauses and he said, well, it's not really Faye's. But I think you'll find...
What do you mean by that?
I think you'll find anything that you would want as far as druidic texts within this library.
So I'm like, if it's not Faye's, whose is it?
Well, that's hard to describe. Faye doesn't own it. She uses it.
Okay. So
no one truly owns this library.
So I'm gonna be like, if you're not gonna be direct with me, please stop being fucking cryptic. It's annoying.
I do not wish to be cryptic. It's just I lack the data to tell you the direct answer that you desire.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go to the library, read up on some druidic rituals.
He kind of moves aside, points to the threshold Darian walked through. He's like, it appears dark, but once you cross that threshold, you will be in the library and free to read as you choose. I think Faye would encourage such a thing. She always wants those that she works with to expand their horizons.
Okay, I'll do that. Go to the library. Go to the D section for druid.
Okay, so you walk in and you kind of experience the same thing that I described to John earlier, where it's like you walk in and it's a combination of unnatural and natural lighting, like flames and torches and candles, and then there's also like daylight streaming in, and there's this huge green orb of energy.
Some energy. That's a monkey.
There's some fucking energy. And you just kind of wander around. I mean, I don't know, like you'd have to roll me a intelligence check to see how well you know the Dewey Decimal System.
I know my intelligence.
Or rather, the fantasy Dewey Decimal System.
What? This thing's fucked.
You just like X'd out of roll 20.
Wait, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. I'm coming back. Wait, no, this thing is wrong. This is not what my modifiers are.
Okay, while you figure that out, I'm going to continue Darian's. So
My intelligence is +3. All right, I'm ready. Hold on.
I wish I had a voice changer for this. So Darian, you like just start turning. You open up the book that's before you, and there's like obviously words on the pages. So okay, Aegolor, real quick, you try to find some druidic texts, and you doesn't really find it easily. So you have to like search for a while. But I mean, you're getting a brisk walking through this infinite library of infinite shelves and books.
Okay.
So while that's happening, Darian, you start to turn the pages, and you can't read that fast, but you're able to read like 4 like novel-length stories with this like voice in your head narrating it in a way that's simultaneously, and like you're like speed reading it. This is the 3rd speed read of this campaign so far. And the 4 stories, like obviously it's like a lot longer, but the core like ideals of these stories are, and again what it said to you was 4 stories that are to be read. Decide which story is your favorite. If you lie, I will know. And one more thing, one of these stories is false. If you choose that one, something must be said, and I'm not sure you will like it. So the first story is called The Deathless, and I've written like quibbles for each one of these to get like kind of the core ideal of each story. And this one goes, man, as in like mankind, had existed for a time, but something was amiss. A new development spawns an evolutionary force for advancing the whole kind. But the enhancements were secured only for the few, so the progress was short and not long lasting. So The Deathless is basically this story of some new development, an enhancement for mankind, but it was secured only for a small percentage of the population, I guess. And they weren't able to accomplish much before dying out, is what this story is about. The second story is called The War, and it's kind of like this story of like an endless war that goes on perpetually. It's an endless war. The core ideal of this is bloodshed started a wave. Bloodshed drove the honest to cruelty. Bloodshed became default, is The War. And then the third story is The Twin Gifts, and it's about kind of like the human mind, or any sentient being, like the mind of the twin gifts of intelligence and sentience. They kind of go hand in hand, and it says the intelligence attained the light, the sentience delivered the shadow, and how it's kind of like a yin and yang type thing. It's called the twin gifts. And then the fourth story, you're like near the end of the book at this point, it's called the rebirth, and it's all about how the humans with the most abilities mentally were brought back after dying out. And it doesn't seem like it's not explicitly referring to the beginning story, the Deathless, but it seems like it's a continuation of that if you used your context clues. So the four stories are all like rather cryptic, it seems, on purpose. The Deathless, the War, the Twin Gifts, and the Rebirth. And while you're ruminating on those, we can go back to what Aegolor's doing before you want to decide which one is your favorite. So Aegolor,
I'm looking.
You're lost, Af.
Yeah, this is not like the library's Inishnasaur.
You don't really find any druidic text, but you come across a room.
A room? Like a whole ass room?
Yeah, like a side room that kind of catches your eye because of what's in it. Let me move the players over.
Push me to the edge. Oh, that's way better.
Yeah, you see, you're just
that.
Link.
I like that. I like that.
So what you see in this room is in the center, it's pretty dark in here. There's not really any natural or torch lighting. And in the center is this symbol of Gaia that you obviously recognize and are very familiar with. Ishnasaur is kind of like one of the primary locuses for Gaia. So you kind of grew up around it and you're a druid. So the Gaia is a force that you're at least familiar with, if not interested in. And that's what you see, kind of like this glowing Gaia symbol in the center of this room, surrounded by shadows. Mm-hmm. And you just step into the room and then...
Can I approach it?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna get in there.
Get in there, dog.
I'm in there, dog. I'm in there.
So,
no, I walked across the blackness. I don't care.
Yeah. So you get a little bit more of the room. There's these pillars around you. It's kind of like this room seems like it's somewhat...
This weed?
That's a bowl.
It's a big ass bowl. I look at it like that Urkel gif where he's intrigued but scared.
Yeah, he's like
All right, so I'm in there. I'm in the thing.
As soon as you step onto the area of the Gaia symbol, you're kind of greeted to this vision in the space around you. It's almost like in Force Awakens when they open up that map to Luke Skywalker. It creates this huge galaxy star map around Han Solo and Rey and Finn. And this is similar type animation. The production values have increased, and you are treated to moving pictures. It's like a vision of sorts. From what you can glean, there's a lot of moving pictures, but it's a prophecy about kind of in various situations and various visions, the natural world overtaking the unnatural places and peoples. So it's you see tsunamis crashing over cities. You see great big mythical beasts running out of forests and just wreaking havoc on man-made structures and technologies, and just a variety of different. You're kind of taken in by this vision, at least momentarily. So
I like it.
Yeah. So however that makes you feel. And you roll me a dexterity check with disadvantage. You feel something coming out of the darkness.
So wait, I rolled twice?
Yeah, and take the lower. Okay. So you feel like a lasso, rope thing, wrap around your arm. It was aiming for your neck from, let's say you're standing right there or right here. You feel this rope thing come out at you from the darkness, and it kind of misses your head but grabs your arm, and then with like what appears to be like mechanical sounding power. It drags you back against this pillar, and you're kind of like up against the pillar right here, kind of like restrained, or at least your arm is. It's your right arm, I guess is your sword arm, and you feel like a blade against your throat, like really quickly, and there's like something behind you hanging upside down, and it whispers in your ear, "Who might you be?"
Can I? So it's got my sword arm. Wait, do I have anything on me? Or am I in like PJs?
You're probably in PJs.
Yeah, unless you sleep in like your chainmail and your bow on your back.
I have no weapons.
Yeah.
Okay. So who might you be? Can I like see this voice? What do they sound like?
You can't see him because you're kind of like up against the pillar, and his head's like kind of just behind yours. And if like you turn, he has like a cloak over his face.
Okay.
But you can see he has a very large nose that's like peeking out of the cloak, and it's green, and his breath smells fucking terrible.
I'm just like, I could ask the same of you, but I don't like. I'm more disturbed by how fucking bad your breath is.
He says, "What do you think of Gabos?"
Like, I have no idea what the fuck Gabos is.
So you would know that, like, and I think you learned this whenever you heard the rumors in Fantasy Taco Bell. One of them was there's
The goblins.
Goblins with the strength of giants in the underpass of some place or whatever, and it's hard. It's like nearly impossible to believe that type of rumor. That's why someone would be spewing that trash in a Fantasy Taco Bell, because goblins have been extinct for about 50 years.
So that's what he means by goblins.
So when he says gobos, that's like a dialect way of saying goblins.
Yeah. I'm just like they've been gone for thousands of years.
50 years.
50 years?
Yeah, goblins have been extinct for 50 years.
I've been alive longer than that. I've seen them.
Okay, then I mean, but the point was that whenever you heard that rumor, you know that goblins have been extinct.
So I'm just like, I heard some crazy guy at Taco Bell, but I was smacked. So I don't know if there's any truth or if that's even happened.
Well, the point is, yeah, I'm just saying, like, so that's the context of goblins in the world. Now, in game, he's saying, "What do you think of Gabos?" And he like the
like
blade
pests.
presses to your throat further.
He's off. Well, probably. Can he be a goblin? He's green. I guess he could be a goblin. I'm just like, well, they're pests. Annoying, but they got to do what they got to do.
Pests. He jerks your head around and kind of like makes you look at his face, and you like see his cloak and you see his face. So I gotta give you this handout.
Handout.
Give you this handout.
Give it to me, Crave.
And this is what you see. It looks like he's wearing a mask.
Okay.
But there's like his nose is like peeking out from underneath like one of the holes where his like nose is. That's why you could see like that's the thing that's furthest protruding that you could see through the cloak. But now you're staring face to face with him, and you see this. He's just kind of like staring at you, and you can't feel his breath, and he's not really saying anything, but he appears agitated based on your answer. And we'll go back to John in the meantime. So John, what is the voice in your head hits you again with
I know they're the Deathless, the War, the Twin Gifts, and Rebirth.
Yeah.
But am I supposed to choose the one that's most interesting to me? You said that there's one that's like false and I'll get punished for it.
Yeah. So which story is your favorite? is the imperative.
So I think I think I'm choosing between two right now. The Deathless and the War, and I kind of want to know more about the Deathless because of the interactions with Faye and how she's trying to like make this new like world in her image, and that the story of the Deathless kind of like reminded me of like what Faye's trying to do.
Okay, so yeah, that one is about mankind existing for a time. Something was missing. There was a new development caused by evolution that advanced mankind, but the enhancements were only for the few, so they couldn't. The progress was short. Was kind of like the ending of that, where it was an anticlimactic ending. You were kind of disappointed when you read it.
Okay.
And then the bloodshed, or the war, is all about the bloodshed started a wave. Bloodshed drove the honest to cruelty. The bloodshed became default. So it's just about how this eternal war kind of turned everyone into, and it doesn't. I mean, the context of this war is it's very abstract, and it's just talking about this perpetual war. It's always been at war. Everyone's at war. We've always been at war with Eurasia, that type of thing, where war just became as second nature as like breathing. That's why it became default over time. It turned the honest to cruelty, and etc., etc. And it's just about the exploits of this eternal war is that book or that novel story. And then Twin Gifts, like I said, it's about like mind, intelligence, and sentience, light and shadow, yin and yang. And then the Rebirth is about the continuation of certain enhanced individuals and the evolutionary advancements from what appeared to be the end of the Deathless being reborn in the world anew. And that one doesn't really end, actually. It just kind of, the ending is like an opening into more.
I think I'm gonna have to go with the war then. I think that one piques my interest the most.
The Eternal War? Okay. So you hear the sentient voice kind of like laugh, and it says, "Good choice. But there's still one more story." And you see that like you were absolutely certain you had gotten to the end of the book. Like the last pages of the book were done. You're at the binding. The Rebirth was the last story, and you kind of hear the book say, "Continue reading," and then there's like pages that are still in the book at the end. And when you turn to them, you kind of like you get lightheaded and like kind of like lose consciousness for a second, but you don't fall down. You continue standing, and the first page of this new section of the book reads. You read it and you continue reading it, and it's very clear that the book is giving you a narrative style write-up of your life. So the first conscious memories and kind of like how you were brought up is how it begins. And as you read it, you can kind of just play through the highlight reel of your life, or not even just the highlight reel, just literally everything. And you've been alive for what, 65 years? You're a half elf? So it's rather lengthy. It's as long as it's longer than the other books really. And when you turn to the last page, you read a real-time like description of what is happening at this moment, and it's being written right now as it appears on the page. So you kind of just wake up from whatever was happening to you, and you're just sitting here reading this book right now. And then I'll go back to Alejandro. The goblin kind of introduces himself after a second. He lets go of his anger, keeps the blade at his throat, and he says, "My name is Eros, and I want to know why you hate goblins. Why? Why?"
They're destructive, uncivilized.
And that's our choice. We chose to be that way.
When the other races decided to live in harmony, you decided to just kind of stick around, live it out.
The other races shit on us.
In civilization. I mean,
Did you tell him that goblins have been extinct? Did you say that?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've just been thinking it.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Well, because, like, okay, I'm like 300-something years old. So, like, 50 years wasn't, like, that long ago.
Yeah, like, so you experienced goblins.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, you're one of the
something that happened, like, 2 years ago, like, doesn't seem like that long ago.
Yeah. No, so you're more familiar with goblins probably than anybody else in the party. Right. Because you're older. Yeah. So you know all about goblins.
Am I the oldest?
I think
because elves live to be like 700-800, so
I think you're the
I
oldest.
might be the oldest.
No, because Sirocco and Malice are both humans.
Yeah, I think you're older.
Krunan is a dwarf, but he's like 30. He's like really young. And then
I'm
Darian,
like middle. I'm like not middle aged, but like, I'm like quarter age elf. So I'm like 300 something.
Okay,
so
Arrow, like you'd say like the civilized goblins didn't play along with civilization, so that's why they got. And like he's saying, goblins was shit on. It was out of our control. Civilization wasn't there for us.
Here's the deal. I don't really agree with civilization anyway. But at the end of the day, it's just the ebb and flow. You were towards the bottom of the food chain. You got shit on.
And he says, and we're still warring.
I'm just like, I thought you guys were gone for a little bit. I thought you guys lost the war. How about that?
Yes, we always lose the war. And he basically gets down from like his on top of the.
Am I still? Do I still have a knife to my throat?
No. He retracts it, and he like just like uninitiated. He just goes into how he's been hiding in this library. And again, he has like a demon mask face. He's been hiding in this library for a long time. He doesn't know how long, and he doesn't seem to have aged as far as he can tell. And you can immediately tell as he starts going into this that like this is the most articulate goblin you've ever encountered. Like there's no goblin that ever has been able to like speak like this. And he explains is like he's able to infiltrate this library, passing by the notice of three master wizards. He had planned to steal everything because he has a bag of holding that he figured he could get a lion's share of loot with and bring back to his clan to bring them power and riches.
So he's been up here for a long time.
He doesn't know how long. And now he has become lost and unable to find his way back out. His bag of holding is empty because he's been here for so long. There's nothing that's worth stealing because it's all here and it's basically become his home. And he says, you were the first person I have seen other than the three. And it's been hard, but I have found incredible value here. The silver lining. Goblins not so smart, but we can learn to be. In my time here, I've taught myself to read, and I've read much. War and peace, philosophy, religion, even magic. I am a better Eros now than I have ever been. And I believe this place has made me the greatest goblin in the world. I can't wait to find my way out and return to my clan and teach them everything I have gathered here, everything I have learned of magic and life and death, and even politics. We will enter a new age of goblin kind. We'll be better now. He's like ranting and like saying all this stuff. But he's like, I have the tools and the knowledge now to lift us out of the hell we have existed in, the civilization that you speak of. And with this knowledge in hand, I feel it to be my duty. And he's like waving his like huge dagger around as he says this, and he's like, again, like half your height.
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder.
Keep it real with you, Chief.
I'd be like, I'll keep it real with you, Chief.
I wasn't listening at all.
Goblins have been gone for like 50 years. Like no one has seen a goblin in like 50 years.
He
or so I've heard.
He just kind of like looks up at you with his little demon mask, and you can't tell like what his eyes are doing and everything. But then you just see him like oh, and like put his head down.
I will drop the TB rumor because I'm like, you know what, this guy is trying to persist his and better his race. So I'm not going to be a complete asshole to him.
Yeah.
I respect that he became learned.
Yeah. So now, whenever you hit him with the rumor that there could be goblins with the strength of giants, he kind of looks back up at you and he says,
I'm just like, yo, that's your thing. Your intelligence and their strength, you could fuck some shit up.
He grabs his like dagger with like confidence and he says, I must get out of this place. And then you see...
You're in luck. There's a portal somewhere.
You see his eyes. This is Eros talking to your ass. And he releases you from like the little like whip thing the rope thing that he had you entangled with.
Yeah. And what is it? Give me your bag of holding, bro.
Kind of like you see suddenly like more of the room like illuminate, and
since I'm not being held.
Yeah, you can like look around and stuff. And on the wall over here, you see an odd. Let me hit you with another handout.
Right. So can you give handouts to people like specifically?
Yeah. So okay. I gave John a handout earlier that you can't see, and then now are about to have two handouts that John can't see. So you look over and you see on the wall there's like this little like pedestal, kind of like what you'd see whenever somebody mounts like an animal head. It's like that type of thing, but then on the wall it's this face of like a goblin grinning, like the handout. Right whenever you see that, kind of you hear Faye's voice. Like Faye walks in from like the other side of the room, and whenever you're looking down at Eros, and you hear Faye's voice. You don't see her walk in, and you're looking at Eros, and Eros has this magical crown appear on his head, and like his eyes turn red through what you think is a mask. He drops his dagger, and you hear Faye say, "That's enough, Eros. It's time for you to stop talking, basically, or stop antagonizing our guest." And he kind of just like automatically like walks over near her, and you see Faye in the room. You bring her in. I have a new character model for her as well.
Where's she at? Oh, that's her.
So she's not wearing like her battle gear or anything. She's robed, also in her jammies, and she walks down from the staircase, and she's like standing here. Eros walks underneath her, and like she like Eros goes underneath next to her leg, and she like pats his head, and she says, Eros, kind of like with like a baby voice, says, I was just joshing around. And Faye says she has known of his presence in this place, and she suffered him to be there because she knew he was harmless at worst, and at best, perhaps very useful. So it appears the time has come for her to reveal this, or the jig is up on Eros' stay here in the library. And Faye kind of looks at you and says, what are you doing in this room? I see your party appears to have just gone wandering out into the night, and only Crunan remains. I couldn't sleep, so I got up and started exploring, and I saw all of y'all had wandered off. So here's you're in the library. You found my library, or the library that I make use of from time to time.
Yeah, I'm just like I was same thing, just wandering around, and I was ambushed by this little guy. I was attracted to the Gaia symbol.
Yeah. She says, she like looks down at him and says, Eros, his poor soul has been in here for over 100 years by my last count, and he's just kind of been wandering. And when he says that he's probably the greatest goblin in the world, he's right by default, but even in the time of goblins, that would be true. So I see that the library has done him well, and I don't know really what to do with him. I've kind of just let him exist here, and he's kind of figured it out. I figured out a way to survive, but I don't know. A decision will have to be made now, and I'm glad he didn't kill you or you him. And while she's talking, you can see that. So you got the Medallion of Thoughts, right, Aegolor?
Did I?
I thought you did.
The
The necklace with the skull.
I think so. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I did.
Okay, so that medallion is a kind of a striking image. It's like a skull necklace type thing, obviously. And you see Faye is wearing, if not like an identical medallion, it's something that looks, very much the same. It's a necklace with a skull on the end, and it kind of has like jeweled eyes. And she's like standing here in her robe, like with arrows, and you can clearly see she's wearing it around her neck. So that's just something you would notice while she's talking to you. And from behind her robes, she like didn't look like she was carrying anything in with her, but she presents like a book, or she looks down at the Gaia symbol and looks around the room, and she says, "I saw that you were drawn to this symbol of Gaia, and Bo told me you were looking for Druidic text to help you in your research, and this is perhaps what you were looking for." And she presents you with like a book that's like made of like bark and shit, and it's clearly like granola crunch nature shit. And she tosses it to you. She says, "You can study this and learn much about the natural world and Gaia as much as your heart desires."
Cool.
So what this book is, once you start reading it, if you go back to your like bed and read it or whatever, it's just it's a book of like natural lore, and you'll get advantage on nature checks if you study it over time. Okay. You'd have to study it for you'd have to read it basically, which would take like 48 hours.
All right, I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
Right now, starting now. Speed read.
Okay, and then going back to Darian, you're just kind of.
So I just got to the end of the book, or I guess it got to the point where it's like narrating what I'm currently doing.
Yeah, so you've been reading it, and it's been like writing that you're reading it, and it's been like an infinitely reverberating chasm. But you can you're no longer compelled to continue sitting there reading it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So is the voice in my head gone now?
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be talking to you anymore.
Well, I'm gonna close the book, and I'm gonna take it with me.
Okay. Yeah, you can take the book with you. It's not affixed to the table or anything.
Okay. The voice doesn't try to stop me or anything?
No.
Okay. I don't know, I guess I'll just walk around and see what else is in the library since I'm there, and there was this already one magical book. I don't know if there's any other interesting things that I could look around for.
I mean, there's a lot of interesting things in the library, but you can roll me a intelligence check to see how well you know the Fantasy Dewey Decimal System. Okay, so you know it pretty well. So if you wanted to find books of a nature, like whatever type of book you wanted to look for, you'd be able to locate it after spending some time. But one last thing on Aegolor's end. Oh, are you there? Oh, he's gone. So yeah, you could just search for a book.
I'm back. I'm moving shit from the dryer.
Okay, so you see I mean, you're kind of left to your own devices, Faye still in this room, but you see her walk over to the goblin face on the wall, and she says, this old artifact is bullshit. And like you see her just walk up and kiss the goblin face, and then Eros like jolts, and he's like, what the fuck? And then he like turns and like he's no longer wearing the mask that appeared on his face. The mask is now where the goblin face was on the thing she just kissed. And she kind of just like wipes her hands and she's like wipes her face off her lips and she's like, I'm gonna go back to bed. And she takes Eros with her, and like Eros is still wearing the little crown on his head, little magical floating crown. What's that?
The mask on the wall?
Yeah, the mask on the wall is like now back on the pedestal.
Can I get it?
You said you wanted to look at it.
I want it. What does it do? Can I do like a something check?
As you approach it,
Can I do investigation?
yeah, but Faye kind of warns you as she's walking out of the room that mask on the wall kind of has a mind of its own, and it appeared to have taken advantage of our goblin friend early in his time here, and he's been wearing the face of a demon, it appears, for most of his time here. I didn't realize this. I haven't been in this room in a while, so be careful with that thing. I'm not even sure how it works. It's something I gathered a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna investigate that hole.
Okay, so yeah, it's just like it's a mask on the wall, and you can't. I mean, it appears like it's probably magical, but unless you like cast detect magic, you wouldn't be able to know like anything more about its properties or what it is. You've definitely never seen anything like it.
Okay. Can I take it?
No, it's stuck to the wall. But as you're moving around it, though,
I just want it.
as you're moving around though, you can see, you know how you look at old pictures and the eyes like follow you as you move across the room?
Yeah.
It looks like it's doing a little bit of that.
All right. Well, that's weird, man. It's interesting. All right. Well, what else is in this room? There's a big bowl of weed.
Yeah, there's a bowl.
There's a statue over here.
Yeah, there's a statue over there.
All right. Is there anything else in this room that might be of interest to me?
There's some more like nature books and stuff, and the statue is of like a hippie of some kind.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's a nice statue, bro. Nice statue, Faye, or whose ever library this is.
Yeah, and Faye just like leaves. That was like her parting warning as she walked back up the stairs with Eris.
Don't fuck with the mask.
The fucking with the mask could bring unintended consequences is kind of the gist of what she said. But yeah, there's nothing
I tried
really.
to fuck with the mask, but nothing happened.
Yeah.
I tried to take the mask. All right. Well, I'm just like, this is a cool room. I like the gay circle. I'm out.
Okay.
I'm out to read this book.
Darian, what are you looking for?
Let's see. I want to look at books on religion. I gotta study up. I've been doing too much heresy recently, so I gotta get
Too
back
much
in the
heresy? Yeah.
book. Chasing women with the boys, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Roll a. Just do me another intelligence check on like when you get to the religion section, how useful you spend your time looking at the books.
Oh jeez.
Oh God. So you find a big old book of religion. And it essentially is going to provide the same thing that the book Aegolor found is if you were to study this book and read it cover to cover, you would get advantage on religion checks permanently, unless you got your memory wiped or some shit.
Okay. Should I have to take that book as well, or is it just from reading it that?
You wouldn't be able to read it unless you spent like 48 hours in here.
Okay.
If you just want a poop sock in the library.
No. I'm kind of tired from reading all that stuff earlier.
Yeah, you read a shitload. Like you're not even sure how you read it, but it's all like sticking in your mind, like as if you took the time to actually read it, and it's not. It's bad read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just take it with me with the other book.
Okay. So, yeah, that's basically all the little Misadventure side quest that I had for y'all. This one was less heart-pounding action as the Sirocco Malos adventure, but they also like almost died.
We'll get to hear about that next time we are in the party with them.
I got DM slammed.
But in what way?
I wanted to take the fuck out of that mask.
No, that's not a DM slam. It's like it's on the wall. It's affixed to the wall. The DM slam would have been oh, I want to go through the portal to Wake. And then it's just like, I'm going to have to fucking figure out what to do from there.
I metagame that. It was like, well, he's not gonna let me go to Wake.
No, I would have let you, and it would have been like a fast travel where like, all right, what do you do in Wake, and then how long until you come back, basically. And then John would just be in the library the whole time.
Yeah.
So take notes on what you learned, because you learned some shit. And I mean, I'll do I have a post game report for this, but it would just
Kind
be
of mad
simply about what.
Let it be known that I'm kind of mad that she's just holding a goblin like captive like that.
Did you voice that to her?
Huh?
Did you voice that?
I didn't think about it.
Yeah, it's like something like you have your book and you're going back to bed and you're like, oh, that was weird. And I was like, wait, why does she?
Kind of fucked up.
She has a goblin as a slave. I can see what the fuck. Well, she did kind of say like she like knew he was in here, but like just wasn't worried about it. It wasn't like she was keeping him here. It was just she didn't tell him how to get out.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back and try to jailbreak my man.
But you also know that like that it's not that uncommon for just people to not give a shit about goblins, obviously, because you've been alive with them.
I thought they were pests.
Yeah, so that's also something to consider.
But since now that I know that he has the knowledge, I kind of want to hook him up with the super strong goblins so they can take over.
Yeah, well, Faye kind of made it clear that like now she's gonna have to make a decision on what his fate will be, because she just sends him back out into the world. That might be really bad. Might be the only like rational thing to do, but I don't know. She has to. Like she said, it's like a decision is gonna need to be made on what's gonna happen now.
I'll keep it in my back pocket. I'm a goblin activist now. Goblin activist.
Yeah. And I guess like any other information would be goblins just kind of died out because 50 years ago was around the time of the last like great like wars. And like I said, like civilization has kind of been running cleanly for the last for a while. Like orcs are part of society now. Goblins went extinct during the last war because they were like used as fodder like they always are. And the war was like especially devastating because of like magical weapons of mass destruction, and just the power levels were off the charts on this. That was like the last season of like another anime. This is like a new season. That was like Dragon Ball. This is Dragon Ball Z, and the goblins basically got wiped out in the war through the course of the war's events. And then that just so happens to be the last time any great wars were fought.
Interesting.
But yeah, like y'all can go back to bed, or you can go to Fancy Taco Bell for a quick nightcap.
Yeah, we'll meet up back in the room and discuss our experiences.
I'll talk shit about Bo.
Yeah, whenever you're talking shit about Bo's like right outside the door, like just listening to everything.
I know you can hear me, motherfucker.
All right, that's it.
All right.